Imagine a man in a suit entering my courtroom and seeing everyone supporting the judge. He then sits with his arms crossed and a smirk, as if watching a show without emotion. I met Vincent Morrison that way. It was hot on July Thursday, as expected. Providence seemed to be melting, and everyone was nervous. I review my docket at 8:30 a.m. while drinking Christina's strong Italian coffee that wakes you up. His name is Vincent Morrison. He's had 17 traffic violations in 3 months. That's not odd, right? Hold on. That number alone showed careless driving, speeding, and ignoring traffic lights, a pattern of someone who didn't care about the rules. Christina ordered everyone to stand for Judge Caprio when I entered the courtroom at 9 a.m. Everyone in the room stood except the front row man. It was John Vincent Morrison. I calmly said, "Sir, please stand for the court." He slowly turned to look at me like I was bothering him. His words, "I'm fine where I am." Even before they mentioned fines or violations, I knew this wasn't a typical traffic case. Everyone talks in Providence, business owners, courthouse staff, and defendants. Everything I learned about him later matched what I saw. This man did this in my courtroom multiple times. It became routine. The courtroom was silent. That feeling when something so unexpected happens that you forget to breathe, that was it. In 40 years on this bench, I've never seen a sober person be so disrespectful. Standing for the court is not a request, I told Mr. Morrison calmly. Doing so shows you respect the law. He laughed without nervousness, a full, condescending laugh. He said, "Judge, I've stood my whole life. Maybe I'll sit today." He always stood. This millionaire thought courtroom respect was beneath his honor. Respect was expected in my courtroom, whether people were working, retired, or single mothers. Earned and given. "Mr. Morrison," I tried again. "For the second time, please stand and do the right thing." Then he did something that still boils my blood. Like a beach reader, he reclined in his chair with his hands behind his head. He said, "Make me." An adult with $50 million told the judge to be more polite in court. It was incredible brave. I rarely stand up from my bench, but I did this time and looked at this arrogant piece. I called him Mr. Morrison, but my voice cooled. "You seem to think rich people don't have to follow courtroom rules," he replied, still sitting in his chair like he owned the place. "That my wealth frees me from many things, Judge, including government orders. Government employees." He treated me like his employee, calling me a 40-year civil servant and judge. Everyone was so rude it was impossible to communicate, but this really irritated me. I saw a young mother bouncing her baby behind Morrison. Her goal was to keep the child quiet for court. She probably missed work and had to find unpaid babysitters to responsibly handle a minor traffic issue. I saw an old veteran remove his hat and stand straight despite his sore back. Despite his red face, he showed respect. This 50-year-old millionaire was less polite and mature than teens who had never been to court. These people got something Morrison didn't. They knew respect doesn't depend on wealth. We should all know that the law treats everyone equally, and that the courtroom is a holy place where everyone gets justice regardless of wealth. I sat down and folded my hands after telling Mr. Morrison, "Your behavior is not only disrespectful to this court, but to everyone in this room who knows what basic decency looks like. Common sense." He turned to see others waiting for their cases. He appeared to be watching medieval commoners at court. He dismissed these hard-working people as unimportant. "I hire the most people in this room, Judge. I pay more taxes than everyone here. My companies spend millions in this city. I deserve to rest when I'm tired. Has your right been earned?" This man thought he could ignore the laws that protected his business, property, and lifestyle because he was wealthy. He believed money could buy manners exemptions. I mentioned that young mom staring at Morrison in disbelief. The millionaire treated her like common sense was beneath him despite her poverty and politeness in court. I continued, "Mr. Morrison, your wealth doesn't give you courtroom privileges. Everyone, regardless of wealth, is subject to the law. He said what people like me say the law is, making my dad roll over in his grave. We make rules and write checks. You think my little courtroom matters? The rules are ours." This went beyond rudeness. In my courtroom in front of hard-working people who followed the rules every day and respected the justice system, this man said he thought rich people were above the law. That brought back memories of my dad, Giuseppe Caprio. From Italy, he brought rough hands and a willingness to work to the U.S. He worked any job he could find, including construction, factories, and night guarding. He respected his superiors and never complained or asked for help, even when they didn't respect him. How he taught me that how you treat people who can't help you shows who you are, not what you own. My dad's values and Morrison's entitlement differed greatly. Dad would have felt bad if he sat down when others stood up and embarrassed to mistreat the judge, even if he agreed with the decision. "Mr. Morrison," I said, "you're about to learn that money can buy you many things, but it can't protect you from the consequences of contempt. No respect?" He seemed amused, like I told a joke. "You want to see what, Judge? I could buy and convert this courthouse into a parking garage. I could pay your salary without notice for 10 years. Maybe I can buy your job, buy my job." This insane person thought everything was for, including justice. He thought he could buy judges like cars, houses, or politicians. I'd had enough. "Mr. Morrison, refusing to respect the court puts you in contempt. Please take Mr. Morrison to the holding cell until he behaves, bailiff." Bailiff Officer Rodriguez approached Morrison's seat. He was a good man. Morrison treated him like an insect. Morrison said, "You're not serious," but his voice was less confident. "I can't be jailed for sitting." I said, "I'm not going to crack you up for sitting down. I'm arresting you because you knowingly disregarded this court's authority." The officer was now beside him. Bailiff, "Sir, please come with me." Morrison surveyed the courtroom as if someone would rescue him. His face changed when he realized that neither his money nor anyone else could save him. He stood up and shouted, "This is ridiculous." He was furious. "Know who you're dealing with?" I said, "This person thinks being rich makes him better than others. He will be proven wrong." Morrison lost everything then. He pointed at courtroom attendees like enemies. He shouted, "You!" at the young mother with the baby. Fair, kangaroo court. She did nothing but stare at him. That the millionaire attacked her was odd because he was finally punished. She was courteous. "And you," told the old veteran, "you like this, right? Seeing a successful person beaten by the system?" God bless the veteran who looked Morrison in the eye and said, "Son, I fought in 2 wars so I could sit in courtrooms like this, put down everything I bled for." His words should have stopped Morrison and shown him how low he had fallen. That made him worse. Jones shouted, "I don't care about your wars, old man. None of you matter. My actions make you look like nothing. No one." He called a war veteran a full-time working mother and an honest person trying to settle a legal matter. They were nobody without his bank account, he said. By saying, "Mr. Morrison," I cut through his yelling. "Your actions today demonstrate that you need to reconsider respect." Policeman touched Morrison's arm. "Sir, please be quiet." Morrison's arm was removed. "Avoid touching me." "What lawyers can I afford? Give me all your badges." The worst thing he ever did happened then. Returning, he pointed at me and growled, "Judge, you just made your career's worst enemy. After I'm done with you, you'll be lucky to get a mall guard job, threatening a judge in open court with 30 witnesses. This millionaire went from rude to criminally intimidating." I calmly told Mr. Morrison, "You've now added threatening a judge to your list of offenses. Police Officer Rodriguez, arrest him immediately." "This bothers me," Morrison shouted as the bailiff handcuffed him. "This is Vincent Morrison. I own property in this city." I said, "Mr. Morrison, your business. You don't own people. Also, you don't own justice." Morrison shouted threats and insults as they led him out. But something interesting happened. Teenagers, working people, the young mother, and the old veteran in my courtroom stood up. They did it to prove they understood, not because I told them. They proved respect isn't money-based, knowing that the law treats everyone equally, regardless of vehicle. Through the door, Judge Morrison yelled, "No end yet. Your companion is unknown." "Hi, Mr. Morrison. I returned your call." "It is. No end yet. You will remain in jail until you apologize to the court." The courtroom went crazy after they took him. Many people were shaking their heads and discussing what they saw. She approached my bench, saying quietly, "Judge, I've never seen anything like that in all 20 years I've worked here." "Neither have I, Krista." The young mother approached my bench. "It was brave of you to challenge him," she said. "My daughter saw it and should learn that bullies can be caught." The old veteran arrived. He told the judge that man slandered all honorable veterans. It was right to do. Morrison stayed in the cell for 4 hours as planned. Every 30 minutes, the officer asked if he was ready to respect. Morrison claimed to be above it all every 30 minutes and demanded his lawyers. He also threatened lawsuits. Change came around 2 p.m. Maybe it dawned on them that they were in jail. He may have realized his money wouldn't fix this, may have grown tired of being treated like any other contempt case. Officer Rodriguez entered my office. "Excuse me, Mr. Morrison wants to address the court. Will he respect her? He claims to be. Bring him up." Morrison looked different when they returned to court. The expensive suit and well-groomed nails remained, but pride was gone. He appeared smaller, as if his immune fantasy had come true. "Mr. Morrison," I asked, "are you ready to behave properly in my courtroom?" He stood up immediately. There was no doubt, attitude, or smirk. "Yes, sir." "Are you ready to respect the court and its members?" "Yes, sir." He spoke softly and modestly. Are you ready to apologize? He surveyed the room. Some of the same people waited for cases. The young mother left, but the old veteran stayed. Morrison briefly eyed the veterans. Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, court. You and everyone else. I can't explain my behavior. The apology was poor. Though he said it like his lawyer taught him while he was held for 4 hours, it was a start. I said, Mr. Morrison, let me ask you something. Today, what did you learn? He considered that. Success doesn't justify mistreating others and money doesn't make me better. I learned respect is earned, not bought. He said the right things, but I could tell he wasn't sure he believed them. Sometimes 4 hours in jail won't change a lifetime of entitlement. I continued, Mr. Morrison, your 17 traffic violations in 3 months show you often think the rules don't apply to you. The behavior in my courtroom today supports that pattern, so this will happen. I ordered him to pay the highest fines for all 17 violations and court costs. Like other careless drivers, he had to do 40 hours of community service with low-income families and defensive driving school. But most importantly, he couldn't enter my courtroom for 6 months. If he received a parking ticket, he would have to see a different judge. Without proof of change, I wouldn't deal with his behavior again. I finished, Mr. Morrison. You've told me you pay lots of taxes and hire many people. These are good things, and your business's success benefits this community. Success without humility is money-hungry pride. Yes, sir. Rich people have opportunities and responsibilities, not special privileges. I hope you'll use your power to improve yourself. I will, sir. Morrison changed his walking style after leaving. Although he still wore expensive clothes and was too rich for most people, his posture had changed. No more braggarty. He wrote me a handwritten letter after 6 months. Judge Caprio, I enjoy helping needy families as part of my community service. It illuminated unknown struggles. I apologized again for my court behavior. I was wrong to think I didn't need respect because I was successful. I learned your lesson. A week later, Vincent Morrison, the old veteran, visited my office. He told the judge he has been watching Morrison since he left. What about him? The veteran grinned. I saw him open the grocery store door for an elderly woman yesterday. He didn't call a manager when the cashier had register issues. He waited calmly. Glad to know. Judge, this is best. The man spoke to a homeless veteran outside the store. He paid the man and sat down with him for 10 minutes to talk like a real person. Morrison may have learned. Maybe 4 hours in jail taught him something he didn't learn from being rich all his life. Everyone deserves respect. Frank, my dad told me, money reveals character. Your identity remains unchanged. It enhances what went before. Some build walls with cash. Some use it to build bridges. Vincent Morrison learned the hard way that money cannot elevate you above human decency. He realized that wealth without respect is poverty with better furniture. My name is Frank Caprio. Remember that money can buy many things, but not morality. Thanks and enjoy your day.